Sunday the 22nd, no it's not, Sunday the 23rd of June, just looking over the trades as we, after we ended the week. So the Aussie dollar posted a bullish candle and potentially bullish double bottom pattern, which we spotted at the beginning of last week. This triggered significant gains as predicted to our target and strong resistance at 69.30.35. You'll see that we still had that as strong resistance on Friday, where a high of the day was expected on Thursday. We still had that on Friday, and we had minor support at 69.10.00. So these are the two levels to trade on Friday. We did top exactly at, well, almost exactly at 69.30.35. So if you try to short that strong resistance level, as was suggested, you were able to take profits on that dip to 69.10.00. A nice easy profit on that trade, and then we bounced straight back up to 69.30.35 and held, although this time there wasn't a lot of profit in the short as we ran out of time. On Friday, I wrote about the New Zealand dollar that we had a double bottom, which was kicking in from key support of the May low 64.80. We actually bottomed just above 64.80. We beat resistance at 65.60, 65 as expected. We topped right at the selling opportunity at 65.90.95 on Thursday. On Friday, we still had that selling opportunity at 65.90.95. We actually, although we topped exactly there on Friday, we overran a little bit on Thursday. On Friday, we overran a little bit just to 66.04, but shorts worked really nicely as we dipped to 65.52. Not quite well. First support was hit, 65.70, 60. We didn't quite get as far as better support at 65.40, so you'd have had to have taken your profit in between the first support and the second support, but still a nice 40 pips or so profit on that trade. We had stops above 66.05, so they were never activated as we got to 66.04. In the dollar yen, we had strong resistance at 108.50, 60 for the whole of last week. I was waiting for that to crumble. So we traded up to 108.72 on the second half of the week. So shorts eventually did work. I was looking for it to sell off, and it was Thursday that we started to sell off. We collapsed to minor support at 108.70, 108.80, 108.70. And then as far as 107.20.25. That gave us up to 125 pips profit on that trade. Friday, a lot less action. The shorts worked. No buy signal, so I thought we could continue to lower to 107.05.00, then 106.75. 65. In fact, we only got to the first target of 107.05.00 before a little bounce just up to that 107.70. 107.80 level, so that held on the bounce, but the outlook's still pretty negative. Euro yen, a little bit more difficult to read. We collapsed from minor resistance at 121.95, 122.05. We dipped to 121, almost as far as 121.00, 120.90. I said on Friday that gains are likely to be limited with minor resistance at 121, 55.60 and 121.95. 122.05. Well, we had quite a strong rally. I'm not saying I expected that, but that second level did hold. We topped just 6 pips above it. Euro on Thursday, we wrote that holding first support, we held first support and made it up to 112.65.75, 70, and minor resistance at 112.80.90. We hit all our targets. A little bit more difficult to read the euro last week, I will admit. In the end, we actually held minor support at this level on Friday. I think that was the low. We hit our selling opportunity, our target and selling opportunity at 130.50, 60. My stop really was a bit too tight. I had stops above 113.75. Now, to be fair, we got up to 113.77. So, but even if stops were not triggered, there was no profit on that trade. So that didn't work so well. Dollar Canadian collapsed last week to all targets that we had on the report, really. We got as far as 131.80.70, so all the targets were hit. We actually got as far as 131.47. Now, I didn't see that as strong support, but we did manage a bounce anyway. I'd said gains were likely to be limited. We hit the first resistance at 132.10.20. We didn't get a lot further, actually. We certainly didn't make it to my selling opportunity there. Where did we get to? 132. Okay, so we got to 9 pips above the first resistance. That's going to be key again today. It does look quite negative. Pound higher after some bullish signals on the daily chart. Let me just remind you what they were. We had that strong bullish candle here, and since then we've rallied up as expected. So quite pleased with that. On Friday we were we were testing resistance at 127.10.15. I'd said shorts were risky. Break higher target second resistance at 127.50.60, and I do believe that that was the high. Just 2 pips away from there actually. So that's our first resistance on Monday, 127.50.60. Not much to report in the pound versus the yen. I'd said we would trade sideways. We did. Minor resistance at 136.75.85 was our first target, and that's, I think, exactly where we topped. Yep, it was. You can see that the low there was 135.92 on Friday, and I had minor support at 136.05.00, so that held. It was only below 90 that we would fall further, and of course that didn't happen. As you know, I've been a gold and silver bull for quite a long time, and on Wednesday and Thursday we rocketed. The break above 1361 to test the 2018 high of 1366, the break above 1368 was, well, I said it looked possible, and really we had targets all the way up to 1391, 1392 for Thursday. All those targets were hit, so that was really nice. If you were running longs, pretty simple as we hit all the targets. Friday I said gold higher as predicted as far as 1391, 92, of course. On Friday we only had minor resistance at 14.0002. I said a weekly close above here is another buy signal. Well, we got through there intraday anyway. We made it up to almost as far as 14.11. I think the high was 14.10. No, very close to 14.11, 14.10 and change. So we certainly hit these 2 targets. And then we sold off quite aggressively to 1382. I don't think I had that as a level, to be fair. I had some support at 1385.86, and we didn't make it as far as the buying opportunity. So the gold is in a kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back motion, but it all still looks pretty positive. Same for silver. Silver, we were quite bullish. Let me just remind myself where we got bullish. Looking at the daily chart. So it was initially the break above here where we got bullish, and then this got confusing. Eventually we used the 200-day moving average as a springboard. So once we'd beaten strong resistance at 15.12.14, that was our medium target. That was our medium term buy signal, and we hit all targets as far as 15.50. Now Friday we didn't make a huge amount of extra gains. We only got as far as 15.55 and then collapsed. It's been tricky to hold longs in this market, I will admit, but as you know, 15.12, 15.14 was the important level, and that's exactly where we bottomed on Friday. So I'm going to stick with the bulls on silver and gold. It's a choppy ride, it's difficult to hold longs, but if you can just grab a long and shut your eyes, we should eventually, well, we got to the next target of 14.54.55 as I just showed you. So if we continue higher, this is what we're looking for. 15.63.64, above 66, target 72, and then strong resistance at 75.80. Oil rocketed on those Middle East tension, Iran tensions on Wednesday. No, was it Thursday? So initially we topped at the strong resistance of 54.35.45. But by Thursday, we'd broken higher. We'd beaten that 54.80 to be stopped out of any shorts for a buy signal targeting 55.65. I'd said shorts were risky here, and they were. If you try stop above 55.90, well, hopefully you didn't. The break high was a buy signal. In the end, we beat that 54.35.45, reaching all the way as far as 55.65, and then beat that for the other buy signal. The key resistance now for oil is 57.70, 57.90. So bulls need a break above 5800 for a move higher. We didn't get that. On Friday, we topped at 57.98. So clearly that resistance is holding.